The sky trembled as the heavens split open, and a blinding star, wreathed in divine fire, hurtled toward the earth. It was no ordinary star. It was sent, and with it came a key, an ancient authority, one that had remained sealed for an appointed time. As the star struck, the ground shuddered, and a chasm yawned open, stretching into the depths below. From that pit, a darkness thick as death began to rise, billowing like the breath of something that had long been imprisoned. It did not merely obscure the sky, it swallowed the very light of the sun, plunging the world into an unnatural twilight. Then came the sound, a slow, crawling hum, the groan of something stirring from ages of slumber. A legion of creatures, unseen yet felt, moved within the smoke. The air thickened, heavy with an unfamiliar weight, as if the very fabric of existence resisted what was about to emerge. And then, they rose, figures neither human nor beast, yet bearing the marks of both. Their forms shimmered, twisting in and out of shadow, their faces masked behind something eerily human, but utterly wrong. Wings of unnatural design beat against the air, sending shockwaves that rattled the earth, and from their mouths, voices, a cacophony of screams and whispers, words spoken in a language lost to time. John saw them, these harbingers of judgment, and his blood ran cold. The vision had not been given to him for understanding, only to bear witness. And as he stood on that desolate rock, watching the abyss bleed its horrors into the world he knew, what had been sealed was now unsealed, what had been restrained was now unleashed, and nothing would ever be the same again. Then the fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and a star fell from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit, and when he opened it, smoke rose like the smoke of a great furnace. The sun and air were darkened. As the star crashed into the earth, it struck with a force that shook the very foundations of creation, tearing through rock and soil. From that impact, something emerged, a key, ancient and heavy, pulsating with a terrible purpose. With a deliberate turn, the lock that had held back chaos through countless ages finally gave way. From the depths poured forth a smoke blacker than midnight, thicker than volcanic ash, rolling forth endlessly in great billowing waves. It moved with intent, creeping steadily upward, blotting out the sun, devouring every trace of daylight, leaving the world wrapped in a choking veil of darkness. This was no ordinary darkness. This was a darkness you could feel. It seeped through skin and bone, saturating the air, stifling each breath, causing hearts to tremble with dread. In this unnatural twilight, eyes strained hopelessly to pierce the thickening haze, searching for shape, for reason, for hope, and finding none. Then from the heart of the abyss came movement. Slow at first, subtle ripples shifting within the dark cloud. Shadows, faint yet threatening, began to stir. Gradually they took shape. Indistinct forms twisting through the smoke, stretching and morphing, an endless swarm emerging from the blackened depths. Their sound was like locusts, a relentless buzzing that rose steadily into an unbearable chorus. Wings whipped and thrashed violently, beating the poisoned air, pushing the choking smoke outward in pulses, spreading a suffocating dread. As their forms became clearer, the terror sharpened. These were no insects, nor creatures any human eye had seen before. Shaped by nightmare, each bore twisted crowns. Faces that mirrored humanity but distorted into a grotesque mockery. Teeth bared like sharpened iron, eyes burning like coals glowing in darkness. And from their tails, long and armored like scorpions, they wielded a terrifying torment. Power was given to them to harm, to inflict agony upon those who had turned away from divine grace. But death itself was withheld from the afflicted. Their suffering was prolonged, bitter beyond human imagination. In those days, humanity would seek release, pleading desperately for the sweet relief of death, but death would flee from them, leaving them to endure their torment, to wander helplessly beneath that choking sky. John, watching all this unfold, stood frozen in awe and fear. His vision was clear. He saw the shape of judgment, relentless and absolute, descending upon a world unprepared. The abyss had opened, and its legions had begun to move. The darkness had come, and the nightmare was only just beginning. And out of the smoke, locusts came upon the earth. But these were not ordinary creatures. They were given power, like scorpions of the earth, and commanded not to harm the grass, nor any green thing, but only those without the seal of God on their foreheads. The first of them emerged slowly, its form half obscured in the swirling blackness. Then another, and another. A tide of grotesque figures pouring forth, filling the air with an unnatural, thunderous hum. These were no mere insects, no swarming pests of the earth. These were creatures fashioned for war. Their bodies, massive and sinewy, bore the armor of warriors, their exoskeletons gleaming like burnished bronze in the dim, sickly light. Their legs, thick and sinewy, bent with predatory readiness, hooves striking the dust as they moved, like horses prepared for battle, bred not for flight but for slaughter. Upon their heads sat crowns, ornate, golden, glistening with the cruel luster of dominion. They were not mindless, they were rulers, conquerors, their authority written into their very forms. And then their faces. Human, but not. Familiar in structure yet entirely alien. Their eyes, deep and dark, held no warmth, no recognition, only an abyss of hunger. Their mouths twisted into grotesque grins, lips curling back to reveal rows of jagged teeth. Teeth like lions, meant not for grazing but for rending, for tearing, for devouring flesh and spirit alike. And their hair, long, flowing like that of a woman, yet tangled and wild, whipping in the wind of their own unholy presence. It trailed behind them as they moved, an eerie, haunting resemblance to the living, though they were anything but. Then, the sound of their wings. Not the soft flutter of insects, but the violent, deafening roar of an army on the march. A sound like countless chariots rushing into battle, wheels grinding against the earth, hooves pounding in relentless pursuit. The air itself trembled at their coming, the very ground vibrating beneath their weight, and their tails, like scorpions, long, segmented, coiled, and poised to strike. At the tip, barbed agony, dripping with venom not meant to kill but to torment. They had been given a singular purpose, to unleash suffering upon those who bore no mark of protection. To deliver pain without release, a suffering so great that men would cry out for death, plead for the void, beg for an end that would never come. For 5 months, they would reign. For 5 months, their torment would stretch. No blade could cut them down, no fire could consume them, no walls could keep them out. They moved with the certainty of judgment, and their victims, those who had turned their backs on the divine, could do nothing but endure. And John, standing on the desolate rock of Patmos, bore witness. The vision did not fade, the screams did not cease, the abyss had been opened and its nightmares had been unleashed upon the earth. And there was no escape. And they had a king over them, the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he is called Apollyon, the destroyer. The smoke twists and coils around him, drawn by an unseen force. He steps forward, titanic, looming, his form wrapped in a darkness that does not merely obscure but devours the light itself. His armor, forged in the depths of forgotten time, glows with an unearthly fire, each plate pulsing with the embers of divine wrath. Etched into its surface, markings, ancient, unreadable, whisper of a power that predates the world itself. His shoulders are broad, his stance unshakable. No wind sways him, no force opposes him. He is the master of this swarm, the ruler of ruin. His eyes, 2 burning stars of supernatural fire, cut through the abyssal night, surveying his kingdom of suffering with an expression neither cruel nor merciful. He is not a being of emotion. He is not driven by malice. He is judgment incarnate, destruction given form. He raises his arm and the locusts still. The churning mass, once wild and uncontrollable, now moves as one. Their wings fold, their tails curl, their eyes, all of them, thousands upon thousands, fix upon him, awaiting his command. And then, his voice. It is not a sound, it is a force. It does not travel through the air but through the soul, rattling bones, unsettling the mind, pressing against the very fabric of reality itself. At his decree, the swarm descends once more. The world buckles under their assault. Men lift their weapons, swords, spears, arrows, bullets. None find purchase. No steel can pierce their exoskeletons. No fire can consume them. No force can scatter them. Cities crumble. The mighty and the weak alike collapse in agony, writhing beneath the sting of the creature's venom. The pain is beyond comprehension, beyond endurance. They claw at their own flesh, seeking release, tearing at their skin in vain. People flee, but there is nowhere to run. They cry out for death, reaching for it with desperate hands. But death does not come. It flees from them. The grave refuses them. Their suffering is prolonged, stretched across days and nights that do not end. And above it all, towering amidst the ruin, Abaddon watches. Who is this king of the abyss? Some call him the angel of destruction, the executioner of divine wrath. Others name him a high-ranking demon, a prince of the fallen, ruling the horrors that lie beneath. Is he a servant of God's judgment, or a force of chaos unleashed upon an unrepentant world? His name is spoken in hushed tones across Scripture: Abaddon, the ruinous depths; Apollyon, the annihilator. He is not Satan, yet his power is undeniable. He is a force unleashed only when the appointed time has come, a being neither bound nor free, waiting, watching, until the seal is broken and the abyss is opened. Ancient texts burn away, scrolls turning to ash, symbols carved in stone glowing with unnatural light. The visions of the prophets flash across the screen: Isaiah's warnings, Ezekiel's omens, Daniel's dreams, all culminating in this singular, terrifying moment of revelation. As the locusts continue their torment, the sky roils overhead, churning like a living thing. The cries of men and women echo beneath the heavens, their voices lost in the unrelenting horror. And at the center of it all, standing unmoved, bathed in the fire of the abyss, is Abaddon. The destroyer has come, and the world will never be the same again. The first woe is past, but two more woes are yet to come. Revelation 9:12. These visions of terror, written centuries ago, continue to echo through human history, warning generation after generation. But what does this prophecy mean for us, here, now, today? For 2 millennia, scholars and theologians have struggled to understand these words. Are they merely historical records of events that have long since passed, or a dire warning of events still on our horizon? Preterist interpretations insist that John's visions already unfolded in the 1st century, fulfilled in the destruction of Jerusalem, the devastation brought by Roman legions, and the persecution suffered by early Christians. For preterists, the terror John described has already swept through history, leaving scars we still see today. Yet futurist interpreters see something else entirely: a prophecy still unfulfilled, visions awaiting realization in a coming age known as the Great Tribulation. To futurists, these horrific locusts, Abaddon's legion, and the abyss itself remain locked in prophetic anticipation, awaiting the moment they will be unleashed upon a world nearing its end. Meanwhile, others see these vivid images as symbolic representations, timeless metaphors illustrating an ongoing spiritual battle raging unseen. They argue these apocalyptic symbols serve to remind humanity of perpetual spiritual conflict, a cosmic struggle between good and evil happening every day in hearts and minds around the globe. And at the heart of all these interpretations remains the chilling figure of Antichrist, the beast, whose rise signals the climax of human rebellion against divine authority. Scripture warns clearly: a time of unparalleled suffering, wars more devastating than ever imagined, famine, pestilence, and darkness that devours hope itself. So we stand now, staring into the prophetic abyss. These ancient words confront us with a question impossible to ignore. Are these visions simply relics of the past, or dire warnings of our immediate future? Are we already standing at the threshold, unaware that these events are silently gathering around us? As we watch the world fracture, nations tremble, and turmoil mount with each passing day, can we truly say that the shadow of Revelation does not stretch toward us even now? This prophecy demands that we reflect, that we prepare, that we remain vigilant, watching for signs of the times, discerning truth from deception, and seeking divine wisdom in an age increasingly defined by confusion, chaos, and uncertainty. The first woe has passed, but two more woes are yet to come. And the question remains, pressing heavily upon each of us: are we ready? The book of Revelation is not just a warning, it is a call to prepare. The abyss has opened. The horrors of John's vision have unfolded before us. The locusts have risen. The destroyer has emerged. And yet, this is only the beginning. This is only the first woe. But the vision does not end here. It stretches further, beyond the smoke and torment, beyond the cries of those who seek death and find none. It extends beyond the abyss, reaching into the heart of time itself, pressing forward into what is still to come. It warns of the rise of powers unseen, of rulers who will shake the earth, of deception so great that even the wise will struggle to discern truth from falsehood. The first woe is past, but 2 more woes are yet to come. These words hang in the air like an echo from eternity, a prophecy left unfulfilled, a warning that does not fade. And the question it demands of us is one that cannot be ignored. What do we do with what we have seen? What do we do with what we now know? Some will say that these words speak of history, of terrors that have already passed, their shadows lingering but their substance long gone. Others will say that these events remain locked in the future, waiting for their appointed hour. And still others will say that the abyss is not merely a place, but a condition, a spiritual reality that manifests in every age, in every soul, in every moment when darkness rises to consume the light. Whatever you believe, one truth remains unshaken. The call to prepare is not just for the distant future. It is for now. It is for today. What do you believe? Is the beast from the abyss a ruler who is yet to come? A force already at work in the world? A symbol of mankind's descent into destruction? Or something beyond what we can yet comprehend? The answers lie before us, waiting to be uncovered. The signs of the times are all around us. The question is not whether these things will happen, but whether we will be ready when they do. The first woe is past, but 2 more woes are yet to come.